Hey guys, I am gonna get back into doing our normal weekly equipment updates, and I'm gonna start tying into that all the questions that I've gotten throughout the week. This week is going to be very brief and short. It is the week of September 25th, 2023. Because don't have a whole lot of questions, and I've been too busy with work. It's been too hot, too wet, or too mosquito-y to get out and do a lot of the work outside that I need done. I do have the budget to finish out the Healy 4.0. It's just finding the time and the lack of mosquitoes to get out and get that wrapped up. But I do have a couple of questions. If you guys have questions that you want me to answer, you can email them to me. You can post them on the Facebook page, or you can respond to one of the videos here, and I will add it to this. I will also I'll also answer you directly, but I like the idea of maybe having them here. So first one that I've got, and if you send me a message on Facebook because it uses your real name, I'm not going to say your name. It's just a Facebook user. Gentleman on Facebook says, had a few questions, haven't seen yet. Live in an area with lower wind speeds, about 3 to 17 miles an hour. During hurricanes, we get up to 80 miles per hour. So wondering what windmills that you've tested that are good with low start speeds to produce power. There's really no such thing as a low wind speed turbine. There's only a finite amount of power available in the air at a given wind speed and given density. So if the wind's not if the wind's not moving fast, the turbine's not going to turn much. The way you counter this is with sheer size. If you want to get usable power in low wind, you have to go really big. It's just math. That's the only way to make it work. Now, something that I can say is that whenever you do live in an area that tends to have low wind speed at the ground, if you can get up 50, 60 feet or higher, there's much more stable and usually faster wind. I've seen guys have to put turbines 100 feet in the air to get usable power, and that does work. So that's really the only way that you can counter not having a lot of wind, is going big or going very high. I have not worked with any turbines that work good in low wind. All of my turbines are small. I mean, I can say like my Healy 2.0 will make a couple hundred watts if the wind's only moving 10 miles an hour or so. The problem is that it takes a good steady 10 mile an hour wind just to get it to spool up good. It'll sit down and idle. Sometimes it'll start turning in a little bit less wind, but if it's not blowing 10, 15 miles an hour, I'm not getting anything out of it. So yeah. He also asked, says, I saw your video on a vertical windmill. Just wondering if there were plans for any more in the future. Well, if I can get my hands on one, then yes. And I still want to make one, but vertical windmills are kind of tough. I want to see one work, but I don't want to see it badly enough to. I have a very limited budget. I don't want to see it badly enough to invest that budget in it. Not at this time. One of the videos, gentleman Stubuntu, he asks, what is shifting cost for the i1500, and he asks, is the 3-blade or 5-blade better for usual 10 to 15 mile per hour, max 50 mile per hour winds? Thought 5 blades would be for slower winds. So this is kind of the same thing, or part of it. Okay, so i1500, if you buy it directly from Easterbreeze, it's going to be dependent on where you live. I think that they charge $150 US for shipping. I can't remember. I haven't bought anything directly from their website. Their prices are usually a little bit better on eBay, and shipping is usually wrapped into the price. So I don't know how much specifically. I know that they'll send you a quote, but I do recommend looking at their products on eBay and going that route if possible, because like I said, it's a little bit cheaper, and shipping is wrapped into it. Now, as far as 3 blades or 5 blades, better for slow wind, I've got another video about this. If you kind of fish through my channel a little bit, 3 blades is always better, especially with small turbines. Small turbines rely on high RPM, and even in slow wind, 3 blades is going to turn faster than 5, because it's just mass. Assuming that the blade designs are the same. You start looking at Easterbreeze, all the blades are the same, so 3 is just going to turn faster, and that's what you really need. 5 blades genuinely will start turning in slower wind, but you're not going to make any power. 3 blades, always the best way to go. So the next one is Semper Paratus 3685. It says, have you heard or seen anything about Hurricane wind power turbines? It says, we're trying to get some info to compare to Easterbreeze and Hurricane. So 3 years ago, whenever I started doing this, I actually reached out to Hurricane because I wanted one of their Vector turbines to put on a pole next to my Easterbreeze i1500 at the time, just to compare, because they had comparable specs, comparable prices. I wanted to see how they perform next to each other. Vector had a very cool blade design, even though it was 5 blades. I think it would have been better with 3, but they had a very interesting blade design, and they put a lot of effort into making their turbine look cool. So I wanted to try one out, and I made the mistake of, got a dog behind me making noise. Made the mistake of telling him that I wanted it on a pole next to an Easterbreeze turbine, and he noped right out and said he did not want his products seen in videos with Easterbreeze products. I'd always meant to go back and buy one just to do it, because I wanted him to cooperate with me, because I had a very limited budget. And yeah, he said no. So my plan had always been to go back and buy one, put it on the pole anyway, just to compare them, and never got around to it. Sometime after COVID really got going, he kind of disappeared, or sometime right after. He kind of, I haven't seen that Vector. Hurricane wind power is still up, but that particular turbine, that model of turbine, hasn't been on his website, unless it's been updated in the last couple of months. I haven't looked recently. I know that whenever I had a few $100s to splurge on something, I went back to look, and it was no longer offered, unfortunately. I think that it would be, I think there was promise in the design, but I never got to play with one, and I never got to actually see one in the wild. The few people that I know who got one, they don't live in a great environment for testing, so I don't think it was fair results. But yeah, never got to play with one, unfortunately. Next thing is DJ Killer Chris. I like these questions. He says, why can't we get a good reliable turbine without spending $1,500? And one, the i1500 and the i2000 are solid machines, so long as you take care of them. Don't treat them like I treated them. I had a lot of equipment failures with my i1500, but that's because I really cranked the thing out and let it scream and wind that it shouldn't have been running in. But It's a good, reliable turbine. My i2000. It's been a good turbine. The only failure that I've had with it was with a slip ring that's gone bad, and I think that that's because the slip ring is exposed. It's exposed to the element, and that's going to make it wear a little bit more. The standard non-wind safe i2000, that's going to be a solid turbine. They're going to be under $1,500, but you're going to get caught up with the cost of the system. The system itself is going to eventually really get up there. I can say that, so like an i2 or a Healy 2.0 can get really close to the $1,500 mark, especially after you upgrade the blades. But if you my Healy 2.0 makes between 5 and 6 kilowatt hours a day whenever it's windy. They have an unseasonably calm summer, so hasn't really kept up with that. But whenever we have decent wind where it's 15 20 mile an hour regularly, or if I could put the thing up 50 feet in the air, it'd run 24/7 nearly. It will outpace a solar panel. So that's not exactly how I want to phrase that. I've always tried to make it to where I'm not comparing turbines to solar panels. I will say that it will keep up with it by cost a solar panel. Now that's one of the things, is that it is a long-term output, and the bigger turbine you get, the more they cost, and the more comparable they will be. But yeah, still, I'm rambling. Going back, yes, $1,500 seems like a lot of money. You can definitely get turbine that's good, that will make some considerable power for less. But if you're wanting to actually power something big, you want to actually contribute to your power bill or something like that, it can get expensive in a hurry. This is not a cheap hobby. And this is the last one that I got by a Dustin Frost 5214. This is a common question that I see. And this is one of the videos where I was talking about taking down a Chinese turbine and replacing it with an Easter Breeze turbine. And he asks, isn't the Easter Breeze also Chinese junk? So I'm certain that Easter Breeze does source some of their stuff from China. I know that some of the controllers that they use are definitely Chinese made, or they definitely look like it. They look very similar to Chinese counterparts. I think that some of their casting is probably done in China or India, somewhere else. I don't think that their facility is equipped to do all of the work that they do. Even like I know that like their wooden blades are made by a firm in Germany, or used to be. I'm not really sure about right now, but I think that that's still the arrangement. Most of their stuff is assembled or manufactured in Turkey, though. So whether or not you think it's junk, it's Turkish for the most part. They source some of their manufacturing in China, like everybody does. And something that is important to keep in mind is that even if it is made in China, it's not necessarily junk. It's just Chinese. There is some definite Chinese junk. There are a couple of outfits everywhere. I can name an American one that's both Chinese junk and is also American junk, but that's an entirely different conversation. So where it's made, there's a stigma about Chinese stuff. Chinese stuff, whether or not you agree with their model, is different. It's not necessarily junk. It's whether it's ethical becomes the biggest question. So good stuff comes out of China. It's just made by 12-year-olds. So that was the last question I had. If You guys got anything that you want to see added into this? Like I said, I'm going to start doing this once a week, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I appreciate you all kind of hanging out with me, and have a nice day.